Haunted Hill Farm released their official list of returning Tekky props for the 2024 Halloween season. Let's talk about them. Now, this year there are 9 Tekky props that are new, never before seen at Haunted Hill Farm. I believe last year there was about 14. However, this year there's only 9. The smaller lineup can be contributed to the fact that I believe every single Tekky prop that Haunted Hill Farm has returned in the past is once again returning this year. First off, we have the Rising Ghost Woman. She's a prop that originally came out in 2020 at Party City. She's a rather basic looking character, being almost entirely white. She has no lighting, so she definitely needs a spotlight. However, she does have really nice movement. She has an up and down circular motion with her body, and her arms do sway from side to side, which does look really cool. She's overall a neat prop, but she's definitely not my cup of tea. There is one more prop from Haunted Hill Farm that does have her motion, which we'll get into now. Next, we have the Animated Bride, which is another one I'm not too crazy about. She came out in 2021 at Home Depot. She has the same motion as the Rising Ghost Woman, like stated earlier. However, she is, I think, a better prop overall. She looks nicer. She has lighting to her, and is just overall more visually appealing. The way her dress looks and the way her veil and hair and all look, I think she does look really nice, and is overall a better prop to the Rising Ghost Woman, who I can see them both being cheaper props, which is good considering what she is. I feel that she does really work as a budget prop. Now, when the list initially leaked, she was just called Animated Bride on the list, so there were a lot of theories flying around that she was actually the dearly departed bride from Tekky in, I believe, 2009. She may have been earlier. I don't remember exactly, but she was around there. And unfortunately, she is not the dearly departed bride. However, I do hope we can see dearly departed in the future. But overall, the Rising Ghost Bride is not a bad prop, just one that I'm personally not super interested in. Next, we have Damien. Damien is a really fantastic prop from 2012. He was sold at many places, yet he still ends up being a rather rare animatronic. He shares the same motion as the Monica, with the rising and the head turning and tilting. And He looks really, really awesome. The suit with the blood and the grime on him. I really do hope the final model does look like the original. He will likely be remolded, but if the new mold ends up looking as good as the remolds from last year did, I don't think we'll have to worry about him not looking as good. Also, his audio is really, really good. It's creepy with the bone cracking and laughing, and it's really fitting for his character. Good zombies are something we really don't get enough of. We don't get a lot of zombies, period, and good ones are even harder to come by. So seeing another good zombie is really, really good. Another thing is he's a really good return from a business standpoint because Spirit returned Demonica at the end of last year, and since the two really do make a good pair, a lot of haunters and I myself personally really do plan on buying this guy, so I could see people who have bought the remake Demonica buying the remake Damien to go along with her. Now we have the Howler. The Howler is also a 2012 prop that I do believe was actually sold up until I want to say 2017 at various online retailers. He shares the same motion as Demonica and Damien, the rising with the head turning and the head tilting. However, he also has an addition of mouth movement, which really does fit the character since he is a werewolf. He definitely looks really cool in the face sculpt and the hands, which I could see being pretty close to the original. The clothing is a little generic, but it still is a passable clothing style, and I think it does work for him. Now, he is one I'm definitely going to look into getting because the originals have just kind of started falling apart. They don't last as long now. They're falling apart because they're turning 12 years old this year, and just age kind of catches up with them. And to see these characters being remade is really, really nice to see. Now, none of these have prices yet. However, I can see him and Damien falling in the $100 to $150 price range that the originals and the remake Demonica have fallen into, which is really great because it's a really affordable price for really fantastic characters. Now, the Haunted TV is actually not a life size. It is a tabletop item, which I believe has had like 4 or 5 different versions of it that have come out. Personally, I do think the one that we're getting is one of the worst ones, but it is still a Haunted TV. And this Haunted TV is basically a screen that shows static and then a face comes out of the screen. It is really, really cool, and obviously it isn't a life size, but it is really cool to see these smaller techie items getting some recognition. I really would like to see more techie tabletops return, like the haunted dolls, like the tear apart Tina. She would rip the bear's head off. She had like a haunted bear rip the head off. Tea Time Terror knows more recent. The creepy bears would be cool to see, like the bear that's eating its heart, the bear that's like stabbing itself, the peekaboo bear. Also the door knockers like Bonkers and the pumpkin door knocker, cool door knocker. All really, really cool smaller techie items that I really would like to see. And with this Terror TV coming out, it is opening the door of possibilities for these smaller techie items to also return.
It's coming for you. Your soul is mine.
Next, we have the Pumpkin Sentinel, which is a prop that originally came out in 2021 at Spirit Halloween, where he was known as Headless Jack. So he is a static prop, so he doesn't have any animation. However, he does have lights and sound. He is tall, I believe, at about 8 feet, and he does look pretty cool. He's a prop that can be adjusted to be taller or smaller by removing one of his poles, which is certainly an interesting thing that not a lot of static props or props period have. He does say 2 phrases, which he does say in the same voice as the Pumpkin Guardian of the Grave, who originally that's who we thought he was going to be. We thought he was going to be Pumpkin Guardian of the Grave. However, he did turn out to be the Headless Jack. Now, he is kind of an interesting return because he is a very, very forgotten prop from 2021 because he was filler. He was very lackluster compared to the other props that had come out in 2021. So he seems like a really, really odd prop to return. When he does return this year, I do hope he's cheaper, because that was another thing that a lot of people didn't like about the original, was that he was, I believe, $280, which really is a lot considering it is a static prop, and there were a lot of other options that year that were cheaper, which were animated and had a lot of really cool features.
I have unearthed the ground just for you. Behold your resting place for eternity.
The Axe Girl is a prop that originally came out in 2020 at Spirit. She was originally known as Ellie Hatchet. Her movement is pretty nice. She has a hatchet raised up over her head, and when activated, she slams down the hatchet actually really violently. In 2020, when she was set up, she was known to actually break the display. She was known to put holes in it because she'd slam it down. And back in 2020, when she initially leaked, I remember there was a lot of theories going around that she was going to be a reskin of Rusty, where she would throw the axe upwards and she'd thrash her head around, which she obviously ultimately didn't end up doing. And Rusty actually did return at Haunted Hill Farm last year, alongside the Twisted Jack, who was a reskin of Rusty. But Ellie Hatchet here doesn't have that motion, which I do think is really nice, because having a new motion is really, really cool for a character like this, and she can be utilized really nicely. Now, a thing I really did not like about the original was her audio. She looked alright. She definitely just needs some blood and grime on her, but she looks cool. She got a farmer-esque kind of clothing, but the thing I didn't like about the original was the audio. I really was not a fan. However, on the new 2024 model, she is going to have new audio. I'm not sure what it is yet. It's just been stated on the Haunted Hill Farm Instagram that she is going to have new audio. So hopefully the new audio is nice, and she will stay in an affordable price range. She may be about the same price of the original, which was about $160, which is not a bad price for her. but hopefully she will end up being better than the original 2020 model.
What are you looking at?
Now, the Tombstone Lifter is a prop that originally came out all the way back in 2009. It is a zombie that is behind a tombstone, and when activated, he lifts up the tombstone over his head while lights would shine down on his face. Noticeably, it is the original zombie version of the Tombstone Lifter. In 2012, at Spirit, they had another version called Chains of the Grave, which was the same thing, had the same audio, and it had the same lifting motion. However, it did also have mouth movement. Now, I do have Chains of the Grave, so I would likely not pick up this Tombstone Lifter unless he has many major improvements, such as a motion sensor, which the original one only was ever timer or sound activated, unfortunately, which was kind of annoying because the sound sensors kind of go out sometimes, and the timer was only ever, I believe, 1 minute and 30 seconds. So that was a big gap between when he would actually go off. And an improved build would also be nice to see on him. The original ones weren't necessarily built bad, but they were mainly plastic, and I would really just like to see a newer, more sturdy and durable construction to him that would really make him a lot better than how the original Chains of the Grave and Tombstone Lifter were.
Take one step into this graveyard and become one of the living dead. We are waiting for you to join us.
Now, last and most certainly not least is the Rosemary Zombie Girl, who originally came out in 2011 at Spirit and was sold in store all the way up to 2014, so she was very, very popular. She has mouth movement, head turn, head tilt, and she lunges with light up eyes. Very good animation, which creates a lifelike and very eye-catching character. Now, notably, this is the original 2011 model with the white dress and the white eyes, while in 2021, Morris returned her with a different look that I feel doesn't really look as good. It's dark, it's got a darker dress and red eyes. Some people do like the remake better, but to each their own. And in 2022, Haunted Hill Farm returned the Limiting Zombie Boy, who did come out after Rosemary. He came out in 2013. However, the two aren't very often paired together, since they're both zombies and they definitely do fit the theme together. It's very nice to see such a classic and iconic prop return for the 2024 season. I think she will do great with haunters who have the original and want an updated model, and with the general public who just happen to find her online. And I imagine she will end up falling in her original $150 to $200 price range. So she'll definitely be an affordable character, and I think will be a really great seller this year. overall, Haunted Hill Farm is returning a lot of good props this year, alongside all of the ones they brought back last year. They're also going to have these 9 new props out this year. So if you didn't get the props you wanted last year, you can go ahead and get them again this year at various retailers. I know Amazon, Lowe's, and Home Depot get them. A few other places I believe also get them, but they will be available basically everywhere. And they do run deals on these animatronics every so often, so if you shop around, you could very likely get a good deal on these animatronics. So that concludes this video. Let me know which of these props you would like to pick up, what you would like to see Haunted Hill Farm return in the future, and thank you all for watching. Goodbye.